Minister was talking about how the UK has a long history where values have not been improvised but built over time. He talked about the strong alliance between the UK and the US, a closer alliance, a relationship that's been both strong and productive, and it is approach, and that approach is delivering with growth skills across the country, and it said it is keeping Britain safe in an increasingly dangerous environment. He talked about how mature alliances are not about pretending differences do not exist, and the way to approach that is through calm discussion. He talked about how the security of Greenland matters and how what's called the High North, which comprises Greenland, is going to require greater investment and greater attention. The UK stands ready to commit fully, he said. Any decision about the future of Greenland about Greenland has to be for the people of Greenland and for Denmark alone. Alliances do endure. But on the subject of tariffs, he said it simply is completely wrong, his words directly. His trade war, he said, is of no one interest. Solutions are rooted in partnerships, facts and mutual respect. Pragmatic countries, they look for agreement, not being passive. That's broadly outlining what we heard. And here's the two sides of it. Greg in Harlow, what a speech from Starmer. Roll over and let Trump tickle your tummy, spineless. Meanwhile, George Thomas, solid statement. Well said, unbending, but diplomatic, quite correct, a superb job. Tony's in Willesden Green. Which is it for you, Tony? Good morning.
Good morning, Nick. Completely toothless speech.
Okay. What did you want him to say then?
Well, I wanted him to say that he will reciprocate with tariffs or bring the rest of the NATO members together and threaten the US with potential economic sanctions or talk about their treasury bonds, because you can't stand up to a bully like that with just talking about calm discussions. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Do you want a trade war? Do you not agree no one actually wins a trade war? Or do you think...
I agree that people don't win a trade war, but It's like being threatened with, armed conflict and saying, well, let's have a chat about it. You've got to show strength in as much as you can reciprocate. I mean, we've seen Trump act in this way with other tariffs, and really he just wants to bring people to the table to have a deal. But there's nothing that says why. It's only his words saying that Greenland is important to take over by the Americans. I mean, you had the Greenlander guy just before on the radio saying they haven't seen any Chinese or Russian ships in the area. I'm not saying they don't exist, but the Greenlanders have been very open about saying expand your bases. Mm-hmm. All he's trying to do is expand territory and go down in history for expanding the size of the US. I can see the security concern, but that doesn't, he can do that simply by expanding his base and not taking over a sovereign country.
Not approval from Tony. Thank you for holding on the line, Tony. You're the first reaction on the phones. Let's get a second. Daniel in Benfleet. Pretty poor rating there from Tony. What about you, Daniel? Good morning.
Hi, Nick. Good morning. I just wanted to raise a point at the stances from a security angle on annexing Greenland, but no one's mentioning it's one of the largest deposits of rare metals used in the tech industry. And the Prime Minister's talking about growth. If America were to own that territory, how would we stand with that?
So what did you think Sir Keir should have addressed that then? Is that what you're saying, just to clarify?
Well, it would be a land grab, and it's very, very valuable for the rare metals to be mined. I mean, that would affect markets globally.
How should the Prime Minister have addressed that? Or should he have spelt that out? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I see. So spell out, look, this isn't about geographic strategic, this is a land grab, is what you wanted to hear from him. I see. OK, Daniel. So again, you'd say he's not gone far enough. OK, the early reviews are in and they're not that favourable. Graham in Newark. Graham, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Oh, good morning. Yeah, but what I want to say is that we are America's greatest ally and friend for many years. Mm-hmm. If America treats us like that, it's a huge implication on the rest of the world. It says that America treats every other country like a competitive business. And there is no friendship and there is no genuine trust. I think that's absolutely huge beyond our country for the whole of the rest of the world.
Did you get the sense that Sir Keir Starmer signified that in the speech he's just given?
No, I just think he was doing an entirely predictable speech, desperately trying to sound statesmanlike, really.
OK. Therefore, I have to ask you, what did you want to hear?
Well, what I wanted to hear is a clear thing about saying this is a fracture of a trusted friendship when a friend becomes not a friend, and that, of course, we would have to respond in like manner for our own wealth and security, because otherwise, he just, what you find with a bully, it's the same with the playground, isn't it? If a bullies understand power very, very, very well, and the more that you give them, the more they take. It's from the playground upwards, all through life, in my opinion.
Lastly, Graham, I know you're in Newark. Are you someone who is in Robert Jenrick's constituency, or are you in a different part of the town?
No, we are. Yes, I am in Robert Jenrick's constituency.
I've got to ask you a question. Now that Mr Jenrick has decided to join Reform UK, as and when the next general election comes about, who would you vote for?
I'd vote for a politician that genuinely can get us to see our GPs.
Right.
Basically, because GPs are just 111. That's
okay. So would that be Mr Jenrick or not?
I don't really know. He might grandstand, or he might actually be effective. Of course, the thing about Newark, well, like any constituency, is us that vote for our MPs. So our MPs need to, in some way, represent the people of their constituencies.
And did he do that by leaving Conservatives?
I don't really know.
All right. We'll have to see when it rolls around in a few years' time. Great. Thank you for that. John in Glasgow, let's come back to what we heard from the Prime Minister about 25 minutes or so ago. Your take on what you made of it. Morning.
Well, you asked Nick if I wanted to hear from the Prime Minister. The answer is no.
Right.
What I wanted him to say, nothing. I've just listened to him on BBC Radio Scotland, where they actually faded him out, the Prime Minister, mid-flow, so they obviously came to the conclusion that it wasn't worth airtime or listening to any further. This is another fine mess he's got us into as the United Kingdom. He didn't need to sign up to any of this.
How is this Sir Keir's making, in your view, John?
Well, we're not part of the European Union. He said what he needed to say, which is that Greenland is a matter for the Greenlanders and the Danes and the Americans. If the European Union then want to row in behind Denmark, he didn't need to row in behind them as well.
But President Trump...
His German allies have already turned tail and run.
No, but President Trump has said anyone who is against... He will levy tariffs on anyone who's against his Trump stance on Greenland. So, I mean, he's not doing this as the European Union. He's doing this as the UK and, to a degree, as part of NATO, John.
Well, it's a neutral stance to say what he said at the beginning, but to end up lining us up for tariffs based on putting a soldier, an officer on the plane, and signing basically a petition alongside Germany, France, and everybody else is something he didn't actually have to do. The Germans have turned tail and run and put all their soldiers back on the plane yesterday morning, saying, "Oh, we've seen everything we need to see here. Mission accomplished. Bye bye." So his allies. He's lined himself up with his allies who've already abandoned him.
OK. All right, John. I can hear what you say. I think you have to be aware that this is apart from the European Union. The United Kingdom will face those tariffs as the way Trump calls it. But thanks, John. I must get as many as I can on. Chandra's in Newcastle. Chandra, your view on what you heard? Morning.
Good morning, Nick. We are standing at the precipice of what could be the collapse of NATO, and I wanted our Prime Minister to use much sterner language and much more stricter tone. Neither the tone nor the language were appropriate, in my opinion. We have been betrayed. If America is our friend, if America has a special relationship with us, they have betrayed us in this relationship, and it's not the tone and language of somebody who has been betrayed.
What should he have said? Do you want a trade war then?
I would. Well, I mean, America is only strong because it has got bases everywhere under the sun. Now, what if every member of the NATO gives 72 hours notice to American administration saying, look, if you don't tone down, your bases are out of our land?
But when the Prime Minister says mature alliances are not about pretending differences do not exist, the way to approach them is through calm discussion. Isn't that right, Chandra? And
this is appeasement. This is appeasement. This is not calm diplomacy. And this is lack of strength.